when I left, baseball was not something that I foresaw in my future, at least long term. I loved the game, I enjoyed playing it, but I was burned out. I had pitched poorly as a freshman, and quite frankly, it was not fun. So when I took my call to be a missionary for 2 years, I left my glove behind, I left the ball behind, and that was really because that's what is asked of a missionary. When a missionary leaves, they're asked to leave everything behind that could be a distraction to them. At the time, that was my girlfriend, who's now my wife, Jenny. It included baseball, it included family, it included my interests, shoes, chess, and every other thing that they could distract me from what the goal was, which was to find people that were truly interested in listening to the message that we shared as missionaries. And so I did that. And when I came back, I had no expectations. It wasn't one of those things where I prayed one night and said, Lord, if I do this, you promised me to do this. It was not that way. It was I'm going to give this up, and I know that whatever happens will be the best for me, and it will be thy will. So when I came home, I was fortunate to get that transfer to Stanford because they had 3 openings for their starters, and things just took off. And I told reporters, Mercury Sun probably covered us the closest, the Chronicle as well. But I have a number of articles, photocopied from my time at Stanford in 01 and 02, that the only explanation I had after, I think I tried to come up with them for a while. Well, it's Coach Kunis or it's Coach Stotts. It's great, a great pitching instructor as well. But after the more I tried to answer questions as to how my baseball life or career had turned around, the less I had answers for it. And I began to think, the only answer I have is that this is just a tremendous blessing. And so that blessing really carried me through 3 very difficult seasons as a Cleveland Indian. My first 3 years in professional baseball, aside from the first 2 months where, I was the greatest thing to ever happen to Cleveland minor league baseball, according to them, from there it was downhill for a long period of time. And those were more of a crossroads than what you referenced in Colorado, because I was not good and I did not have confidence and my pitches were not crisp and they were not executed and I didn't have anything going for me as a professional pitcher. But that understanding that everything that happened to me was happening for a reason helped me to continue to grind through it, to push. And when it did click for me, the end of 05 in AAA, I was able to run with it. Carried that through 2006 in the minor leagues and went and played winter ball, a decision that I made because I knew that it would give me an opportunity to maybe get in on a major league team. And eventually I was released by the Indians, claimed by the Orioles, gave up 1 run in spring training, and 8 years later I get a chance to pitch in a World Series game. So life, baseball, everybody's career, everybody has a story. I'm no different. But what I learned as a missionary in those 2 years away are the foundation for everything that happens to me in my life. And so, sometimes it's used for positive. I remember a number of articles saying, this kid's very mature, this kid's this kid is that because of his mission. And when I pitched poorly for 3 years, now I was not a good pitcher, and the 2 years off hurt me, and baseball wasn't important to me, but church was more important. And so I've seen that. And so when I pitch and when there's something written or something said or there's a perception, I understand, much like what Ned said, when it's one way, everybody has a reason and an explanation for why it is that way. And when it flips, a lot of those reactions just automatically flip over, even though nothing has really changed except the result. And so results don't drive what I do, and I don't think they should drive anybody, but it's the effort that you put in and it's the experience that helps you become who you are.